Hello, everyone. Welcome to IAB Hong Kong's Measurement View Stop. I'm Zoe Cheng. I'm the commercial director at Ekimetrics. And today, joining me, we'll be talking a little bit about the data clean room. And I'm very excited to have Ashley from Decentriq. She's an expert in data clean room, where we will debunk a lot of the myths of data clean room, what it is, and we'll also share with you some of the real cases today. So nice to have you, Ashley. How are you?
Really good. I'm so happy to be on this call with you, Zoe. Happy to share more about us as a clean room and some advice to maybe help those who are watching on how to get started.
Thank you. So I guess just recently we did the IAB event, and one of the topics that I shared was on clean room because a lot of people don't actually know what clean room is, and maybe they've heard of it, but really concretely what it does. We want to kind of get your perspective on what is a clean room doing. I know it's for cleaning, and why is clean room data clean room such a trend now? So what do you have to say about that?
Happy to share more about this already. So what is a clean room in itself? Yes, it's for cleaning, but it's also not for cleaning. So we want to already break down that first myth. But what a clean room does essentially is that it's a secure and private environment where you can collaborate with different data partners in your space. So whether it be other brands, publishers, retailers, other data partners, you're able to do so in a flexible way with each other without breaching any privacy regulation and only getting out insights. Some of the reasons why we see clean rooms trending so much nowadays is because of two main things. So the first one is, increasing regulation for consumer privacy, and also in tangent with that is third-party cookie deprecation. So even if Google has recently announced that they're not officially deprecating cookies, it doesn't mean that the quality of it hasn't significantly decreased over the past years and isn't going to continue to. So marketers really need, let's say, new ways to gather new insights. And we see a lot of people turning towards first-party data for this. So lots of different companies are starting to collect it, especially those who may have never collected it before. But of course, when you collect your first-party data, you're seeing this in a siloed environment, and you really need to be able to collaborate with those others in your ecosystem to help bridge that gap of information. So yes, this is, in a nutshell, what we see a lot with the definition of clean rooms.
So that's great about the data clean room. Thank you, Ashley, for sharing. We hear a lot about different kinds of clean room out there. Some is from a publisher. Some we talk about walled garden. Tell me a little bit more about the differences and how you can assess what's right for brands that are looking to do this type of data exchange.
100%. So there's two different kind of clean rooms out there. I mean, they come in many flavors, shapes, and forms, but the easy distinction off the bat is what is a pure play clean room and what is a walled garden clean room. So walled gardens, as you guys know, those are the likes of like a Google, a Meta, and Amazon, in which you work with them on first-party data to activate or run collaborations in their closed ecosystems. And then there's those pure play clean rooms, and these are the likes of a Decentriq, like us in terms of a clean room provider, where we help connect you across all those fragmented players in your ecosystem, whether it be premium publishers, retailers, any other player itself. And what's really important about this is you can see here the split between a user's time across the walled garden and the open internet. So just because you run a lot of campaigns on the walled gardens doesn't mean that you should also look towards other clean rooms that can be very important in this space where your customers are spending a lot of their time, and they can actually be super complementary with each other. So you can build an audience based on those fragmented individuals who have a lot of data on your consumers, and then push this for activation on a walled garden, for example. And also when it comes to the measurement piece, we're actually seeing more and more walled gardens turn towards pure play clean rooms to help support them and fill in some gaps. So we're going to touch upon this later in the presentation as well.
That's great. I think in my presentation last time, I shared about Disney Plus's data clean room. And I think they started that in 2020 as well. So we can definitely see that the media and the publisher are starting to catch up in this data clean room game. So good to know. And thank you for sharing about that. I kind of want to know a little bit more on some of the real world use case that you guys have been working on, or something that's been interesting that you think that is not just on marketing and measurement, something for the greater good, I guess. Are you able to share a bit more with us?
Happy to talk a bit more about those real world applications. So of course, we're going to share more about actual media and advertising cases. This is for the IAB Hong Kong group eventually, but just wanted to show a bit about the power of data clean rooms, not just in the media and advertising space, but also in the FSI, the healthcare, the supply chain space. So many clean rooms are running very powerful collaborations today across these different areas. So you can imagine in FSI, clean rooms where they link sensitive data across different entities. You can run collaborations on cross-entity collaboration. You can do anti-money laundering analytics. You can train risk models for better financing decisions. This is actually something that we did with HSBC in the APAC region. So super powerful in this cross between, FSI and supply chain. And also on the healthcare side, I see a lot of very, very important collaborations happening there. So just an example of what you can do with a clean room is that you can help pharmaceutical companies have access to patient data from hospitals across multiple regions and help them, train their models on that real life patient data, whether it be for speeding up drug development, identifying diseases more quickly. So really, really powerful cases there. But of course, we're here for IAB Hong Kong. So where can we talk about some of the media and advertising cases? And I think it's really important as well, not just because of the reasons in which we see a lot of brands and advertisers and publishers looking towards this, but I would say that across all these spaces, one of the fastest moving industries is that of media and advertising when it comes to clean rooms, just because of all those shifts that we talked about just before and all those trends for why clean rooms are so important. So just here, I'm going to talk about 3 different cases across each space of the campaign planning cycle. So we're going to start with, media planning, then we're going to go to targeting, and then we're going to touch on measurement. So just an example of a very first case here on the media planning side is that of consumer insights. So in this actual clean room, what we were helping was 2 advertisers, so 2 skincare brands, Aven andEderma. Maybe you're familiar with them. With the help of their agency Publicis, they wanted to better understand who were the different persona groups when they're running a launch of a sunscreen campaign. So as you can tell, these brands, even though they're owned by the same group, they share a lot of people in common, and they wanted to not cannibalize their sales from one over another. So they were able to collaborate with many different publishers who have that understanding of where their audiences are more interested in specific topics than others. For example, are some more into sustainability, are some more into sports, are some more into beauty, these kinds of different elements, and help feed these information to the clean room to build out these different persona groups. So with Decentriq, they were able to understand what personas were identical, what personas were similar, which ones were exclusive across them, and to really help them, inform their creatives, know how to target specific individuals to not overlap in sales. Yeah. Another
very cool,
one,
very cool.
Yeah, it's really a really powerful case, especially with let's say like so many brands that are now collecting first party data and can benefit from each other from this. Another one here is that of targeting. So this is looking towards building lookalike audiences on that prospecting side. And in my opinion, this is one of the most powerful use cases that clean rooms can build out. So what we have here is a collaboration between a retail bank and a publisher. So Post Finance is one of the largest retail banks in Switzerland, and Goldbach here is one of the largest publishers in the country as well. So they're the likes of an SCMP, for example. And what happened here was that the bank was actually able to, with the guarantees that our data clean room can provide, bring in their CRM data to Decentriq. On the publisher side, they were able to bring in their DMP data into Decentriq and start understanding what is an overlap between them, and then using this overlap to create a lookalike audience inside of Decentriq. So what's super powerful here is that lookalike audience is created inside of the clean room in itself, and they're able to push back to the publisher in form of their IDs. So in a very quick nutshell, what this case is doing is it's letting that bank use the data of their most valuable customers, find everybody that looks like them in the publisher's audience, and target them without ever revealing to the publisher who their customers are. So a super private, a super powerful way to get reach and to really use that first party data for, let's say, post-cookie era marketing. And finally, on the marketing side, so third case to close that loop from the measurement space is here a final one on incremental reach. So we worked here with a very global, well-known beauty brand, and what they wanted to understand was the incremental reach of a specific campaign. So helping them understand how CTV ads helped generate better views over that of traditional linear TV. So here we have DAZN, which is a very popular sports streaming company, with Vodafone, a very large telco company. They were able to bring that exposure data into the clean room and effectively calculate that incremental reach, which helped this large beauty advertiser maximize their net reach, and at the same time helped that publisher, that CTV publisher, help prove better media efficiency as well. So a really nice measurement case here.
That's very cool. Thank you for sharing. I guess, you shared a few that was doing real cases that was doing good for the industry. You mentioned like FSI. I think it's definitely a mover. And then the ones that you share on marketing is and also measurement is very interesting. Besides these type of measurement case studies, how is the clean room also applied in overall marketing? How is it shifting the marketing I would say era?
Yeah, it's definitely shifting how people view what the possibilities are with their first party data. So I shared, an example across each different step of the campaign planning process. It's bringing in new players to the space, which is really interesting. So you can even imagine, retailers who have such a wealth of first party data, but never thinking of using this data for an enrichment and monetization process. And I think it has a lot of value, especially on this measurement side. So I'm just showing one case here of incremental reach, but then you can also look for incremental sales lift, enhanced campaign performance reporting, and attribution as well is super powerful because brands, advertisers, they know who converted and the publishers know what were the exposures, and you're effectively able inside of a clean room to bring those two silos together and have a better understanding there. And on that retail side that I mentioned before, you can even bring in, as an advertiser, a retailer who might have that data that you're missing. So having like a tri-party collaboration where the retailer brings in the conversion data, you might bring in some conversion data if you're selling yourself, and then that publisher or multi-publishers can bring in that exposure information. So really so many different cases to touch upon, especially on the measurement side. And one thing that I alluded to earlier in the call was how clean rooms, pure play clean rooms and walled gardens can effectively be complementary to each other. So something that's very exciting and let's say developing in the measurement space is that we see that some, let's say, walled gardens who are very known for not sharing their data outside of their space, they're facing some trouble where some of the brands, especially the regulated brands that we work with, they're not able to run measurement on these walled gardens. They have, privacy and security regulations that prevent them from sharing this PII data with a Meta, for example. And what's quite interesting is that, these walled gardens are turning to pure play clean rooms like us to be like, hey, can you maybe serve as this bridge between us and the advertisers who want to use us, but don't have those privacy and security guarantees. So lots of complementary cases. Don't think of walled garden clean rooms and pure play clean rooms as separate. In many ways, they can actually help each other.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that insight. So I guess my next question is, it sounds so easy and, it looks like, the first party is data is there. There's so much you can do with it. But why are people or why are brands like being quite hesitant to start? Because a lot of the clients at Ekimetrics, when we talk about it, they say, this is great. But usually the part that, doesn't fit in the end is because they're worried about certain myths, they're worried about sharing their data. What's your thought on unlocking this value so that people can start doing analysis or getting the most out of their own data?
Yeah, no, super good question. We have this challenge, of course, with many of the people who are really starting up. And it's very typical when you have let's say, a new kind of solution that does something that was never possible before. So it seems like such a big barrier, such a hurdle to have to cross. But when we get to those conversations with many advertisers, they're actually quite surprised by how easy it is to unlock a collaboration with a clean room, especially on the technical side. So these were some of the main challenges that we see, and we're happy to debunk them here in terms of getting started with the clean room. The first one is, of course, concerns on data privacy and security. Especially in APAC, new regulation is kicking in more and more, and we see that a lot of advertisers are, asking a lot of questions about, how future-proof is this technology? How come you can use our data in a way that, 10 years ago we weren't able to do? What's changed? And we see a lot of apprehension there, which is fully understandable. And my only response to this is that, yeah, for sure, there are new technologies out there that can enable such a collaboration that can help you really audit what's happening in the clean room, get that guarantee, have those conversations with your DPO in a much easier way. And my advice here is to really look under the hood of what those clean rooms are. Not all clean rooms are built the same. Some have specific privacy enhancing technologies underlying them, such as us at Decentriq. We use a technology called confidential computing, and this really helps us give those guarantees to brands, especially those highly regulated ones, or even the non-regulated ones, that they have a future-proof technology that they can use when collaborating with any kind of partner. So, take that time, look under the hood, make sure that this is really that technology that says what it's going to do and that can help you out on that privacy side. A second one that we see a lot is not having enough first-party data. We see a lot of companies only starting to embark on this journey, for sure, understandably why. But, just because you don't have first-party data doesn't mean that you can't actually start working with clean rooms. So some of those examples that I showed before are actually companies that don't have first-party data of their own. So the very first case that I shared with Aven and Aderma, those two skincare brands, they have no idea who's actually buying their products. And what they were able to do was to bring in the help of an ID solution to help bridge that gap. So many clean rooms are actually ID agnostic. Many people think, oh, I must have a hashed email in order to work with a clean room. That's really not true. What you need is that you have an ID that can be matched on both sides. So this can even be telephone numbers. It can be IDs, as I shared in that use case. So it's really open, and you can bring in this ID partner to help you start working with clean rooms. Another example that we have is working with a very global luxury car brand that didn't have enough data on high income individuals that they wanted to run a campaign on. So even though they do have their first party data, they didn't have enough in a specific segment. And what they actually did was enlist the help of a data partner who, when they ran the clean room, brought in that data that they had on high income individuals, almost acting on their behalf to create lookalike audiences for a campaign. So there are other partners out there that are, happy to help you out with their data, and you can look towards them too. So don't think that not having your data is not a good way to start. And then the third one is, again, the question of how do I even start? So even if these two big ones are big hurdles, we still see people having, hesitation on what are the first steps? What do I start thinking about? And one of the first ones that I say is, what partners do you want to work with? So if you have first party data, who are some of the media partners that you wish to work with? What kind of publishers do you want to work with? If you don't have data, think about this. And also, what are some data partners that can help fill in those gaps? Can you maybe work with another brand to do some data enrichment? And a good way to get started is to speak with your agency. So agencies, their job is to help you navigate this industry. And chances are a lot of them have even tested out clean rooms. They've probably even worked on a clean room with another client of theirs. So they can really help you figure out what are some of those criteria that you really need to look at, and what is important for you, as an advertiser, and what is the best fit. So definitely reach out to them, see what information they already have that can be very helpful for you. And then the last one that I would say is, especially in the APAC region, we see a lot of initiatives helping promote such collaborations, building out data ecosystems with data clean rooms in the industry. So that's quite exciting. We work with someone like IMDA Singapore to help you kickstart some of those PET projects. So they really help, connect some technologies to corporates, get that understanding of who's out there for solutions that you can use. And some of them even provide financial support for some of these projects. So if that is a barrier, feel free to look out to how some of these initiatives may help you jump a step on that commercial side.
I am on top of it, and I'm very thankful that I have, you to share these misconceptions, because when we are meeting brands out there, typically one of the first questions they will ask is, that's great, do I have enough data? All these privacy concerns, and where do I even start? So thank you for answering those questions. It was really great for you to share in very short 10 minutes about what this data clean room is all about, and what can it do, and how it's helping the measurement and at IAB measurement committee. What we're trying to do is bring in the trends and sharing this with the community. So very happy that we had you in our chat today, and we'll look forward to the next one, and I guess we'll wrap up today.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.